Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for the upcoming new moon that's occurring on February 1st, 2022. Before we get into the reading, I want to mention a couple of things. First and foremost, this is, of course, a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. The numerology and energy forecasts are up now for each life path number for the month of February. So if you haven't checked yours out, head on over and check it out. And beginning in February, this is something a lot of you have asked me for. And so I'm finally in a space where I can do this. I will be starting to offer one-on-one, face-to-face over Zoom, life path coaching with numerology. So this is going to be an opportunity for sort of open dialogue about what you're currently moving through and what the numerology and the energy indicates for best practices for working with that experience. This is a great way to dive deeply into your numerology report and your upcoming personal cycles to gain better clarity and personal confirmation for the path that you're currently on and the path that you potentially want to move on to. So you can begin booking that service in February, and I cannot wait to begin working with you in this capacity. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this reading. So February 1st, 2022, we have the new moon occurring in Aquarius. This is a very personal moon for me, especially as my natal moon is in Aquarius, so I'm sure I'll be feeling these energies pretty potently. For the numerology, we see both the energies of the 1 and the 9 being illuminated. So this can be a time when both important endings and new beginnings occur simultaneously. So you may see something exit and then something else come in almost immediately to sort of fill that void. Or you'll get an indication of what it is that's going to be coming in to fill that void, even if the actual tangible doesn't come in at that moment. So at this time, you may find yourself sort of coming to terms with something or, that's not really working out quite as you had imagined it would or how you wanted it to, but you're also pleasantly surprised by how things are taking shape. So endings create space for new beginnings, and often the mind can't begin to comprehend the potential or the possibilities that are wanting to come in to fill up that space. So the mind will often try to dictate the direction that we move into, but it's always limited in some way when ego is involved. The heart knows what it wants, even if the mind can't comprehend the why. Your heart, your soul knows the way, so let it guide you now, especially under this one energy. If you can't fully see the path before you during this, at this time, with such a heavy emphasis on one energy, this is going to be a time for taking big, bold risks and doing things in ways you have never done them before, even if it feels a bit scary or uncomfortable. So if you feel you're being asked to sort of dance beyond your comfort zone now, then put on your dancing shoes and let the rhythm of your heart move you. This is a time for innovation, for breaking the molds of convention and the status quo and creating in ways that allow your own true authenticity to show through, to really shine now. Creating in ways that fuel the fire within rather than diminish it. So if something is inspiring for you, go for it. If something leaves you uninspired, leave it. Self-doubt can sort of creep in out of fear at this time because you're really going to be asked to do things, again, outside of your comfort zone. And when we do that, that's when the fear creeps in. That's when the ego creeps in to try to, quote unquote, protect us from stepping outside of that zone. So fear of what others may think of your actions, decisions, and expression may crop up at this time, but your focus now isn't meant to be on pleasing the expectation or meeting the expectations of others. It's on blazing your own unique trail based on your own unique desires and creativity. We're always expressing ourselves creatively in each moment of life. How we dress, how we decorate our home, what we do career-wise, who we create a life with, how we treat ourselves, and so on and so on and so on. So every action moves the energy and pushes it into some form or some kind of container or an experience. Creation isn't only about manifesting something big and tangible. Creation is just as potent in the moment. So those moment-to-moment experiences and actions are a part of creation. So with this one energy, we're really being asked to elevate how we and what we are creating each day. If we don't like those creations, we can create new ones. The creations that will feel the most aligned for us at this time or any time are the ones that are most authentic to our own true nature. So not done to impress another person or to reach an expectation that another has put forth, but rather be the magician within our own lives. So this one energy is sort of sparking the fuel to ignite the flame within. Set the intention and then take action with that intent towards whatever fuels that beautiful, unique inspiration. Anything that tries to sort of dampen the flame at this time is not meant for you now. So remember, the heart or the intuition is the compass, and the ego or the mind is for the logistics to help us to get where our heart knows it wants to be. But often we allow the mind to make the final decision, which can confuse and sort of convolute things. It's not the intuition misleading us. It's the over-involvement of the mind. We already know what we need to do or what we sort of want to do or what the soul desires to do. We can feel it, right? So when we can create a space where we're not allowing the mind to sort of take us down the rabbit hole of indecision, because logic, won't work here. It only creates and convolutes distraction, right? So one energy is going to be asking us to boldly follow the truth of our own inner knowing, even if others don't understand, even if in this moment we don't understand. So indecisiveness comes from having options, right? If you only have one option, there's no need to be indecisive. So that indecisiveness comes from having options. And the mind then creates stories for those options. And soon we have a vision board flooded with a gazillion ideas, a gazillion pros and cons, and tons of advice from others. And we become, understandably, overwhelmed. So all the while, the intuition continues to send out sort of this beacon of vibration in the form of feeling, guiding us towards the option that is most aligned with our higher calling at this time. So now, with this one energy being illuminated, it's going to be a time where you really need to feel your way towards your next creation. So remember, creativity is happening in every moment of the day, right? So we get to decide what it is that we're going to create in that moment. So when we can allow our heart to guide us, our intuition to guide us without convoluting the path, then we become much more clear and much more concise in what it is that we're moving towards and why we're moving towards whatever that is, right? So with the illumination of the 9, as mentioned, we can see things sort of coming to completion or closure at this time. Things that you've been working on for quite some time can be finished now, and you can reap the harvest of those past efforts. So for some of you, those things that you've been sort of really putting all of your time and energy and intent into, you can see the harvest coming in at this time, where it's maybe felt like it's been slow going or that it was never going to come. You may see it come at this time where you're able to actually see the rewards of that effort. So can be a really beautiful energy for that. This is also an energy of community, the greater good of all, feeling the connection to the earth and all living beings in a very profound way. So it's a very spiritual energy, which 9 energy is a very spiritual energy. It's very much associated to like the 9th chakra or the spiritual realm. It's incredibly spiritual energy. So you can feel that as this is being illuminated. And the fact that the 9 and the 1 are being strongly illuminated together indicates support for doing things and creating things that aim to serve the greater good, including Mother Earth and all living beings. This goes beyond the individual I. This goes beyond the simply just humanity. This encompasses all. This encompasses the universal circle. So the 1 energy being self and the 9 being all. How you can work towards sort of ensuring that your individual actions aim to do no harm and contribute towards the universal circle in some way that lifts the frequency and brings more love, compassion, harmony into the world rather than hate, separation, judgment, and chaos, are very much supported at this time. This 9 energy sort of reminds us of the important role that we each play, again, in that universal circle and in the collective. So overall, this illumination is going to be a time for innovation, ingenuity, greater vision that sort of busts open the mold and status quo for the benefit of the greater good, while we follow our own authentic true nature. So we each play an integral role, an integral part in that process, and we get to choose how we show up and how we contribute. So there is a lot of potent, powerful energy behind this new moon on the 1st. Use it wisely, and you get to decide how you use it. So again, use it wisely. So I hope it's a beautiful new moon for you all. I think it's going to be very, like I said, potent. It's going to be powerful. We're going to see a lot of things sort of come to play on the global scale based on this energy, as well as individually, but just try not to lose sight of the role that you play as an individual in the collective experience and how your actions have sort of like a ripple effect and do affect the earth, the animals, the other humans, whatever, right? Like all living beings. So it's a lot of responsibility, but with power comes responsibility, and all living beings have that power within. And so it's just, again, it's how we choose to use it, how we choose to contribute, how we choose to participate, and whether we choose to let the mind dictate the direction that we move into, or whether we allow our heart, our space, our higher consciousness to guide us. So again, I hope it's a beautiful new moon for you all. Thank you all so much for listening. Take care, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.